Hi, boys and girls. Thank you so much. I'm Mrs. Foistel, and I want to thank you for joining me today as we learn more about summarizing nonfiction and what makes a really good summary. Our learning target today, I will learn that it is important to include only the most important details when summarizing a nonfiction text. You will need your reader's notebook and a pencil. Let's review again what makes a good summary. A summary only includes information from the reading passage or book. No additional information is needed. Now, fourth graders, you know a lot about topics, and sometimes it's hard not to add other facts that you may know about a certain topic. But when we're writing a summary, you must only include information from that reading passage or book. A summary explains what the author thinks. Do not include your own opinion. A summary includes only the most important ideas. A summary includes enough details to tell the important ideas, but not too many unimportant details. And that's the one we're really going to focus on today. And finally, a summary includes your own words. Do not copy sentences word for word from the passage or book. We're going to read the passage below, and I want you to listen along as I read it out loud. And we're going to come up with an appropriate title for the passage. I like to do that at the end. For me, just really studying and reading and rereading the document, thinking about the main ideas and the supporting details, first help me come up with the title. It almost kind of writes itself after I do the work. Then we're going to use the information from the passage to complete the activity on the next page. So make sure that you have your notebook and a pencil ready. For now, just listen aloud or listen as I read it aloud. Iceland is known as the land of fire and ice. The fire part of fire and ice is because there are around 30 active volcanoes currently in Iceland. The ice part of fire and ice is because of the many glaciers, slow-moving chunks of ice, on Iceland. Iceland's unique features make it an amazing place to visit. The best way to see the beauty of Iceland is to hike through it. The Lugavur Trail is one of the best known trails in Iceland. People come from all over the world to hike 34 miles through the land of fire and ice and see the volcanoes and glaciers that Iceland is known for. It takes a lot of time and preparation to hike this trail. Most people can't hike 34 miles in one day. So before going on the hike, it is important to plan out how you're going to eat and where you are going to sleep. Most people carry the food they will eat while they hike the Lugavur Trail in a backpack that they take with them. Some people also carry a tent and a sleeping bag in that same backpack so that they can camp all night. Other people pay money to stay in huts that are along the trail. It is also important to bring the right clothing for hiking. Iceland can be cold, windy, and rainy, so you need clothes that can keep you warm and dry. If you are willing to put in the necessary planning and preparation, if you are willing to put in the planning and preparation necessary to hike this trail, you will be rewarded with unbelievable views. This trail has it all: rivers, colorful mountains, canyons, volcanoes, snow, waterfalls, hot springs, geysers, black sands, and more. Every time you turn the corner, another breathtaking view greets you. Walking through this land of fire and ice is worth all of the effort. Gosh, now I want to go there. All right, so here is our task. Now remember, a summary is supposed to be a shortened version of the most important parts of a reading passage. When you write a summary, you should only include the information that is most important to the passage. Think about what statements could be included in a summary of the passage you just read about Iceland. Now, since we can't cut these out, we're going to use our reader's notebook for this next activity. What I want you to do is take out your reader's notebook and make a T chart. So find a nice clean piece of paper, and on the top of that T chart, I want you to write most important details, that should be included in a summary. Should look a lot like this. And then on the right side, details that are not as important. So important, not as important. Then you're going to look at these 6 statements from the passage. And you're going to put each statement in the correct column. So your job is to determine which details are most important and should be in a summary, details that are not as important. Now remember, sometimes an article has lots of little fun facts that make it super interesting, but are they really the most important part of that article if you were to summarize it? And remember, a summary is supposed to be a shortened version of the article. So pause the video or stop the slide and take some time and complete this activity. Well done, boys and girls. Thank you so much for your effort. I appreciate it. Let's see. All right, so here are the most important details that should be included in the summary. Hiking the Leugaver Trail is a good way to see the land of fire and ice. Hiking the Leugaver Trail takes time and preparation, and the views you see when hiking the Leugaver Trail make all the planning worth the effort. Details that might be really fun and super interesting but are not as important are most people can't hike 34 miles in one day. There are around 30 active volcanoes in Iceland. The Leugaver Trail has geysers and waterfalls. Although very interesting, they're very specific and not important to the summary. So what I have done, boys and girls, is I have taken some time to kind of look through this article again, and I highlighted some of those details or parts of this article that I thought were most important in a summary. And here are the notes that I had taken. The Leugaver Trail is one of the best known trails in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. I kind of combined this one and this one right here. So I summarized in my own, or I just kind of paraphrased, excuse me, in my own words, these two highlighted text details. All right. It does take time. I kind of got an understanding that if you're going to do this, it's not something that you can just go on a whim. You have to kind of get ready. You have to pack food. You have to bring the right clothing, and you should also plan where to sleep. And then there are many beautiful landforms to see along this trail. So again, I paraphrased, kind of used my own words and summed up what I had gotten. You know, I could list all the different landforms, but I kept thinking, okay, a summary is supposed to be brief. I don't want to get hung up on all the unimportant details. So knowing this, what would be, and reading this again and again, ask yourselves, boys and girls, what would be a good title for this article? So maybe a title, after looking at the details or the notes that I have taken, maybe a good title would be Iceland's Leugaver Trail Worth the Effort, or Hiking the Leugaver Trail in Iceland is Worth the Effort. So here is another place that I want you to pause or stop, and so you can practice writing a summary for this nonfiction text. Practice writing your own summary. Take out your reader's notebook, find a nice clean sheet, use the notes, and I've included them below, and write your own summary. And if you need to, you can play some motivational music. All right? Thank you. Pause and start to write. Well, thank you so much, boys and girls, for taking some time to practice writing your own summary using the notes from the story that I took earlier. So let's take a look at two examples or two summaries. And remember, a summary is supposed to be a shortened version of the most important parts of a reading passage. And I want you to read the 2 summaries below. And what summary do you think is better? And why do you think it is better? Well, boys and girls, let's take a look. Let's look at this and think about it. Summary 1, Iceland has volcanoes and glaciers. Glaciers are slow-moving chunks of ice. Iceland also has the Lugavir Trail, which is 34 miles long. Some people stay in huts along the trail. Other people camp in tents at night. Iceland can be very cold and windy. You will see canyons, volcanoes, and hot springs when hiking the trail. Or, here's summary 2. The Lugavir Trail is a hiking trail in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. Hiking the trail can take several days, so it is important to plan what you are going to eat, where you're going to sleep, and what you are going to wear. If you put in the preparation, the views you see along the Lugavir Trail make hiking it worth all of the effort. So what we have learned so far, boys and girls, is that, remember, a summary is supposed to be just the most important details. And it's supposed to be a shortened version. You don't want to get trapped in a lot of the unimportant details. Although they might be really interesting, they're just not the most important. Which one did you pick? 1 or 2? Which one is better? I personally think that summary 1, although very interesting, has some of those unimportant details that aren't really necessary and the most important part. And I like how summary 2 just kind of gives me a bigger picture, kind of gets right to the point. It says, you know, you have to prepare. It's beautiful. It's in Iceland, but it's worth the effort. This one, summary 1, you know, it's 34 miles long. Some people stay in huts along the trail. It can be cold and windy. Seems too specific. Oh, hey, and look at that. We were right. Summary 2 is the better. It includes details from the passage, but it doesn't include a lot of the important information. The second summary includes more information that is important to the passage overall. Thank you, boys and girls. I appreciate your time. And as you read your nonfiction text today, try to identify only the very important details. Then write a brief summary in your reader's notebook. And remember the 5 points that make what makes a good summary. Thank you very much. Enjoy your reading today. Take care. Bye-bye.